It's tough to sit here and say that there are a lot of positives coming out from a 79th ranked recruiting class, the lowest rated that you've had according to 247 in over 20 years. Think about that. There are kids about to graduate from Baylor University whom this is the lowest ranked recruiting class in their life. That is crazy to think about with the ups and downs of this program, the dark days, the scandals, the coaching changes. It's crazy to think, but here we are. Crazier still, there are things to get excited about in this class. Because what's crazy, when you look through the recruiting rankings nationally, we talk about South Alabama, Northern Illinois, and Troy, the teams ahead of Baylor. They don't have any 4-stars. Baylor still has 4 4-stars in this class. And it really goes to show how special this class could have been, because you had other 4-stars and an arguable 5-star who were ready to commit. And you had the second, or had committed, ready to sign. You had the second best recruiting class in the Big 12 at one point, and now you're sitting in the bottom. But you still have 4 4-stars. There are still some good players who have stayed loyal and true to this Baylor regime. And chief among them is Quinn Murphy, the quarterback. I know we need to talk more about the line, and that's what Dave Aranda is focusing on in this window here. But there is nothing more valuable to a recruiting class than a blue chip quarterback. And that's what Quinn Murphy is. I saw one of the Baylor accounts tweeting out. I thought it was a great line, and I wish I had saved it so that I could give them credit. But, sticking with Baylor hurt Quinn Murphy's rating. Like, this was a mid to high 4-star quarterback who's sitting there as a high 3-star. It hurt his rating, but it helps us immensely. This is a kid who's thrown 83 touchdowns over the last 2 years at Argyle Liberty Christian, playing for Jason Witten, by the way, and has the 3rd most touchdown passes in Texas high school football history. He's sticking with you. He's still coming to Baylor. That's a huge win. Or how about London Smith, the Baylor legacy who had offers from just about everywhere in the country, like it was between kind of Baylor and Alabama and Texas. You still won that battle. Local kid, university high. You lost Jamarion, Vincent, another local guy, and that stinks. Jamarion Carlton, semi-local. That sucks, man. But this is still a big win on the home front. This is one of the most electric receivers in the state of Texas, man. 42 career touchdowns, 211 career receptions. And I don't want to say single-handedly, but was a huge part in that university high program turning around. Those of you local to Waco or paying attention to high school football while you're at Baylor, man, university is nothing to write home about when it comes to a high school football program. For the last couple of years, they've been a playoff team because of London Smith, and thanks in large part to London Smith and fellow Baylor commit Devontae Kirkland. There's all kinds of good that is there. And you lost Cole Seaton, sure, but you still held on to Jalen Battle, the defensive lineman from Oklahoma. This kid's a stud, 4-star guy, and you're looking for a game wrecker. You thought you had it for Jamarion Carlton. Now you turn your attention to whether Jalen Battle has it. And by the way, that's another guy who had a lot of pressing interest at the end of this cycle. People saying, look at all the guys flipping from Baylor. Are you sure? Are you sure? There was a ton of that with Jalen Battle. Trust me, good sources on that. Rylan Morris, a guy who flipped in the summer and then flipped back. Snip, snap, snip, snap. Was going to go to Stanford, remember? Saying, hey, you're gonna get a heck of an education. You're just not going to win many football games. Now he's back at Baylor at a position that they really need some help in. I know a lot of us don't want to hear much about the skill positions, but running back is really where they're going to need some help, especially with 2 guys coming off of injury-filled years, Dawson Pendergrass and Bryson Washington. Downside of this is Dave Aranda did say this week that they need to build from the inside out, talking about both lines and in the trenches. Well, you got 12 letters of intent at the time of recording of this, and you got 1 offensive lineman. 1. Good news, bad news? Bad news is you only got 1. Good news is he's your fourth 4-star. Got a playmaker in Davion Peters, local guy, Lake Belton. Jamarion Richardson, the third Jamarion, if you will, still sticking around. Jamarion Phillips, the fourth Jamarion, still sticking around. And I think it's really impressive, man. I think these young athletes deserve our respect because they are sticking with it in uncertain times, man. Like, you don't need me to tell you. I've done it a lot. There's a very uncertain future with this Baylor football program, and they've got a coach who could be fired within the first month of next season, if not before then, when an AD comes in. But these guys not only believe in him, but they believe in Baylor, because there's a good chance that they could play half their freshman season with a different coach. But they did want to come here. They do want to make a difference. And so, man, there's a ton of respect for that. And that's why I hate, referring to it as the worst class that they've had in 21 years, even though that's statistically correct. It's the lowest rated class they've had in 21 years because there's talent here. What I'm about to say sounds like such a loser thing, and it's so crazy, but damn it, I'm going to say it anyway. How many 79th ranked recruiting classes have 4 stars still in it? That, if nothing else, that shows you exactly what this class could have been. Think about it. 4 stars, and none of them were in your top 3, maybe even your top 4. You could have argued for Cole Seaton with the importance of his position, but he was a high 3-star. So none of them were in your top 3, and you still got 4 stars. That's impressive, including one at quarterback. Okay, high 3-star. Including a very big-time recruit at quarterback. That's a huge deal for Baylor. So, yeah, there are some positives to take. Overall, is it a failure to be the 79th ranked recruiting class in the country for the 15th time in this podcast? Yes, it is. But there's some talent here, and there could be some building blocks. These are the players that you should be excited about. Who are you excited about? Let me know in the comments section below if you're watching on YouTube, or tweet at us at Locked On Baylor if you're listening wherever you get your podcasts as well. And do me a favor, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. Helps me keep my job and helps us on the path towards 5,000 subscribers. About 60% of you watching, listening, aren't actually subscribed to the podcast on YouTube. That helps us, and it also helps you get the #1 Baylor football show straight to your YouTube account every day that we're dropping an episode in the mornings on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well.